All right, here we go.
It's time for BGFG.
Gonads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Ray. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremont.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day of not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now here's your host for this week's show.
Thank you. Welcome to BGFG, episode 4,300, and I have no idea because I don't even know what the hell day it is at this point.
It is April 10th, Friday, and it's episode 312.
Cool. I'm glad one of us know that.
Well, I'm not quite as stir crazy as most folks because I am still getting out of the house, but
I'm just getting out of the house enough to get to the store. That's about it.
I mean, I had some hardware to set up yesterday to keep a production line going.
Oh yeah, because you're still technically at work.
Yeah,
technically. Yeah, I don't have that luxury right now, and it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing that's going on. And there's a lot to cover this week. Like there's a lot. There's some funny. There's some sad. There's some. But we here make sure that we do our best at BGFG, which is basically us two idiots, to give you the news that you actually need. Look, if you watch the news in the morning and at night and stuff, you're going to see the same thing going on, and a lot of it's kind of sad because you're going to get a little bit on the depressed side because it's sad. I mean,
we're gonna cover the same news. We're just going to give you the truth about it.
Yes, there's a lot of truthiness
from our perspective.
That is a good point. It is our perspective and our opinions, though we've proven that we are seldom wrong.
Unless we are, and then we usually go back and delete those episodes, so there's no proof.
Right, so there's no proof at all. All right, let's get into this week's news because there's a lot.
It's kind of like the doctor.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
So we're on, what were you saying? I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it's kind of like the doctor who used to, whenever his female patients were pregnant and they would ask for a prediction, he would tell them, boy or girl, and he'd pull out his little book and write it down.
Yeah.
And he'd always write down the opposite of what he said so that 9 months later when the kid was born.
Yeah.
And they're like, I thought you said it was a girl. And he'd be like, no, I said it was a boy. Look, here. Wrote it down right
here. Nice. That's awesome. So there's a lot, and instead of working on the stuff that's what I find is funny is that we could sit here and as a podcast that's been going, you and I for years, a decade, damn near, 300 plus episodes. We can sit here and talk about the negatives and oh my God, and this quarantine and that quarantine and these numbers and that numbers, and it's just you already get that enough at home. You don't need to get that anymore. You really don't. You hear that enough, but. What we will do is we'll show you about all the stuff that you might not be knowing. For instance,
headlining. Things that kind of slid in under the radar.
Yeah, this week is all about...
Don't look over here.
Nothing to see here.
Ooh, look at that.
Like, for instance, Michael Atkinson. Remember him? This guy, Michael Atkinson, he was the Inspector General for the intelligence community. This is the dude, Free. That was the whistleblower. Now, the thing that makes me laugh is that everybody was wondering who the whistleblower was with the first, when Trump was going to be impeached. Everybody was, who's the whistleblower, who's the whistleblower? It really didn't matter. Facts are facts. But, the administration wanted to know who the whistleblower was. The whistleblower was actually the Inspector General of the intelligence community. People, this is his job. Is to find intelligence leaks.
I can't wait to play
things.
devil's advocate.
Oh, all right. So this guy this guy, Michael Atkinson, he worked for the DOJ for 15 years.
Yep.
And he noticed that there was some stuff going on with the Ukraine, that Trump was pressuring the Ukraine to do investigations on Biden.
Yep.
And because as a whistleblower, suddenly, here we are, no ramifications ever, doing his job and everything. And here you go. On the 3rd of April, he was, the president lost faith in him and he was asked to step down officially with a letter and everything, gave 30 days. And then immediately he had gone on administrator leave. So he didn't have to do the last 30 days. So what are you going to be devil's advocate about that for?
Well, what do you think he got fired for?
For being the whistleblower. Why else would he get fired?
Just because he was a whistleblower, or because he blew a whistle about something specifically related to Trump, or he blew a whistle about something that was really not that big of a deal, or
I think it's because I personally believe
I need to know what house of straw you're building so I know how to pick it apart.
I would say it's mostly it would be, I think, just him or the president feeling and the president's administration feeling that this guy was attacking him and trying to find dirt on him specifically.
So he blew the whistle on something that may or may not have been legitimate, but his motivation wasn't because he was looking out for the best interest of the country. His motivation, you're saying his motivation was political.
No, I don't think that at all. Okay, so all right. I don't think that's the case at all. I think he was simply doing his job.
Well, where was he when Biden point blank said he blackmailed somebody?
I don't know.
In the Ukraine.
Maybe there's an investigation going on for that. I don't know.
Well, that's what Trump was asking them to investigate.
As if he said that. But
you can pull it up and find the video where Biden point blank says that he told the Ukraine guy, "You're not getting this unless you do that." Point blank. I blackmailed the son of a bitch, or something to that effect.
Okay, but my point is that this guy just from the intelligence community, brought this forth like he's supposed to do, not as a witch hunt or anything.
But what I'm saying is Hunter Biden, that whole thing. You've heard about all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it comes to light that there's this video of Joe Biden saying this thing. Yeah. And Trump says we should look into that.
Yep. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you that that's what happened. But again, his job was to bring it forth, to bring forth this information.
Why did he bring forth the one that they've got actual video of?
That I can't answer. But the bottom line is, if he's doing his job...
So he just decided to start doing his job?
If he's doing his job, then why should he get fired for it later?
I'm not saying he should have got fired. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Because you're a dick.
Douchebag.
No, I don't think he should have lost his job. I think he's not real smart. Maybe that's why he shouldn't have the job, because you can look at what happened with previous people when they were doing their job, whether it was political bias behind it or not, and what happened to them. If he wanted to keep his job, he should have been like,
So
maybe this ain't worth blowing a whistle over.
Well, what about the Navy captain? What about him? Should he have kept his job? I mean, and that's something that we've discussed before too. Like Captain Brent Crozier, I think was his name. He was the captain aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt, and he sent a memo to the higher ups saying that he had, I forgot how many he had. He had, I want to say like 40 or 50 people with coronavirus or starting to have the symptoms, and he pleaded with his higher ups to let them off the ship to go get, help at a hospital and keep the ship kind of sterile or attempt to.
Right.
And they didn't want to hear it. And then finally he just released the letter to the public. Now, I do see the point in chain of command. In the military, chain of command is extremely important. People can die if you don't follow that chain of command. Sometimes it is unfortunate.
In this case, people would die if you follow the chain of command.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I totally think he was within his rights, because there is I don't know if it's a written rule, but there's definitely a rule within the military community that you don't follow an order if it's
yeah, but that's a
what I'm
slippery
looking for.
slope. I know what you're talking about.
No, it is.
Detrimental,
It is,
detrimental
but-
to the. It's something. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but you basically it's an order that's not controversial, but anyway, it's a clear cut morally wrong order that you've been given.
Yeah.
You should not be in trouble for not following that.
Well, the thing that made me laugh is that suddenly the acting Secretary of Navy, because as you well know, people have left the administration consistently for one reason or another.
Oh, yeah.
But this guy made the call to relieve him, so of course he's taking the heat for it. But all this guy did was beg for his crew members to be sent to a hospital to get better care.
Yeah.
You know? For a ship to be effective, and again, you have no idea what's going on. You know, you still get the was it South Korea, North Korea, South Korea? I can never remember. The one sending up rockets still.
That'd be North
Moron.
Korea.
You know, so a ship needs to be effective. It needs to be at 100. I forgot the exact term. Mission compatible. I don't know. But a ship needs to be ready, virus free, and be able to operate.
Yeah.
And if you have a ship full of people that are sick, they can't do their job. Their job is to protect us.
And you're already in a confined enough space. It's going to be really hard. I don't know if you've ever seen the quarters on these ships, but you know, you quarantine someone to their bunk, they're still going to be coming in contact with many, many people.
Yeah, they are. And again, this is another one of those things that we don't pick sides. We're pointing out things. The president of the United States had, you know, you think, oh, there's going to be no retaliation for this, that, and the other thing. He always says that, yet somehow there's always a reason. I mean, he was caught on the air the other day saying that if certain governors didn't want to play ball, you know, then they might not get their phone call answered.
Yeah.
Are you serious right now? This is not a time to be making those political statements. It's the same thing when he turned around and told that reporter, you know, this is all a hit piece to keep me out of the next election. Whether it is or it isn't, this is not the time to discuss that at all. There's other things going on. You know, they're making choices for us as Americans that we don't really get to choose. I mean, I've already heard the arguments about the $3 trillion and who's going to pay for it. It's not going to be paid for in the next tax time, but it's still, well, you know what? Fremo and I are here to tell you that, guess what? That shit's going to have to get paid back one way or another.
Oh,
Doesn't
total
really matter where it comes from.
global economy collapse and all debts erased. That's when it gets paid for, because there's no way. There's not a single government out there, with the exception of some very small countries, that have any kind of a balanced budget. Everybody's borrowing all the time. Everybody. The whole planet's living on debt. And one day it's going to collapse.
And then the administration, for those that might not know, the administration turns around and the administration tells 3M, they're in Missouri. They tell 3M, look, you need to make ventilators for us. Okay, well, you can't tell that company who's the leading provider in ventilators and masks. You can't tell them to not provide them to anybody else in the world. We don't have a one country economy anymore. We have a world economy, Free. You know,
Technically you can, because of some of the different laws on the books.
right.
But should you is the question.
Yeah, and I don't
So
think
you're getting into legal versus moral. It may be legal, but is it moral?
I don't think it's moral at all. I mean, you can't.
No, I don't think it is either. I'm just saying that's the question you're getting into.
Yeah, and well,
And
I mean,
to be honest with you, I think Trump would be 100% okay with going back to isolationist policy, where we close borders like we were before the world wars. You know, we're closing borders and we're just taking care of our own, and we're not worried about anybody else out there.
in this climate right now, I would say yes, that is something that needs to be done. There needs to be a handle on this stuff. Whether it's China that found more people infected, or another country that says that they've plateaued and then they don't, they're actually increasing again because people are getting lax. As we've talked about off the air, people get lazy. They're like, oh, well, it's been 15 days. I've been home. I'm fine. Let me go. Let's go have a picnic.
Yeah, you may have been home for 15 days, but what about the knuckleheads who haven't started quarantining themselves yet?
Correct. And then let's not forget about the medical workers. These people should have some sort of bonus and have a boatload of time off because they are risking life. They're risking their lives every day to do this. You can't have, they're having trouble getting masks. So I appreciate the administration telling 3M that they need to up their ante, but there is other places. There is a lot of places doing 3D modeling and sending 3D. What the hell's the 3D? I keep wanting to say landscaping. It's not 3D landscaping. It's 3D printing, face shields and stuff, and sending those out. Some are doing 300 a day in little tiny communities. A lot of the tech people. Gosh, you can't hit random on YouTube and not come across somebody with a tech show. But a lot of them are using their 3D printers that they have and making, using their entire time just making these masks and stuff and sending them out. And I think that's wonderful. But to force 3M to say you can't send them to other parts of the world, I think that's a little much when you're the leading manufacturer.
Well, it's a little much right now. I don't think it's at that point. Could it get to that point? Possibly. I don't think it will. I think everybody's ahead of it enough that it's not going to get to that point where we are having to just completely shut down borders and be, totally isolated for a while. I think with some of the different developments with different medicines that they're trying and ramping that stuff up.
Oh, don't even get me going on the medicines, dude.
Oh, I know. There's a can of worms around any topic we talk about right now with COVID.
Yeah, there really is.
There's good and bad on both sides of everything. But just specifically to telling 3M that they can't export right now, I don't think it's at that point, and I don't think it'll get to that point. But
I hope it doesn't because again, a lot of times
when do you decide that it, is it after the fact of, oh, we really shouldn't have sent these out because we need them now? It's a juggling act right now, and
it is. And I know that they've said that there's people that are, and I don't know if it's 3M or not, but apparently there is some companies that are manufacturing these on a larger scale than normal. That are now
there's all kinds of companies
process.
that are
they're
trying to
they're doing a bidding process with countries.
There's a group of students at a university down here, medical students who have applied for a patent for a new type of ventilator that they've come up with that apparently would be pretty easy to manufacture and relatively inexpensive to manufacture. So, I mean, there may be some good that comes out of all of this, technologically. Plus, you look at, Elon Musk, Tesla, they put a whole group of people on, okay, well, let's look at what we have laying around and hey, can we make a ventilator out of it? So they're like literally not producing cars right now, trying to figure out how to make ventilators with what they have on hand.
Yeah. There's a lot of people doing it. I just hope it's not too little too late. That's my hope, and shame on you if you're the company, like you're listening to us, but if you're the company that is having people countries bid on the next shipment, you're disgusting. You're absolutely disgusting.
They're in the same boat as the people, several different companies that that one of them was straight up going to not pay people. They actually changed all the people that they said were being furloughed or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't say they were laid off. They changed their salary to like 0.1 to like a penny. So they didn't have to pay in. They don't have to pay into unemployment for these employees.
Yeah, that's.
You had another company that said, "Okay, sign this form saying that you recognize we're going to dock your pay the amount of stimulus money you receive."
That's messed up, man.
You know,
That's
so you
what-
got all these companies that are out there, and it's the absolute wrong mindset. It's me, make a dollar. How can I get over in this situation? And that's why you still have people out there that are not taking this serious, that are going to end up that, you know, there is a possibility we end up with the point where this stuff kind of does a round two and is even worse than before. And we do end up with martial law and the government stepping in and taking over manufacturing and shutting borders and, you know, roadblocks. And you can only go to the grocery store on Tuesday if your social security number ends in an even number, and
you're
you
100.
can go on
I agree
Friday
with
if it ends in an odd, you know, I mean, I don't want to see it get there, but as long as people keep being idiots, it could.
I absolutely do not disagree with you, because a lot of stuff might actually be resolved from that. You know,
here's the other scenario where we end up like that, and that is not because of the virus, but because the economy is stagnant for so long that the country literally goes into a depression. There's several economists predicting that right now.
Yeah.
And reputable economists, not fringe nut job people, like actual, like legitimate names that people look to for economic guidance, saying that if we don't get a handle on this and get things going again, that we will end up in another Great Depression.
Yeah, it's
and with the mindset of the world, not just this country, but with the world, for a majority of the world today, of me, that's going to create some havoc.
That is definitely going to create some havoc. You know, and on a somewhat,
you got all these people that don't want to sacrifice a little bit of their comfort for the benefit of everyone around them, and it's going to get ugly.
It still doesn't help when the mainstream media still keeps screwing things up. You know, and they're still putting out disinformation about stupid things. And guess what, folks? Guess who we're talking about yet again is Fox fucking News.
Oh, they're just as bad. They're just as bad as any of them. They just have a different perspective.
Between bullshit numbers, jumping on the president's bandwagon, and again, we're not taking sides. We're not saying the president is good, bad, or indifferent. It's our president of the United States right now. That's our president. But again, when you make stupid choices, I don't care what person's in office or what administration is behind the president. If you make stupid choices, that's dumb. And we've talked for a long time about how Fox News is just consistently brushes away anything that's bad ever happens. And they put disinformation out there. And I came across another story yet again that makes me kind of wonder. There was a story that ISIS claimed responsibility for an attack on the Air Force base in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me kind of wonder. So there's some questions I have, Free, that are perplexing me. Like, for instance, ISIS doesn't have a lot of weapons, do they? I mean, these are the same people that drive around on the back of a Toyota pickup truck, correct?
I mean, I would say that a majority of them, which would be the your small cells on the fringes of the ISIS network, probably don't, until you start getting more towards central command.
Right.
There's not a lot of a lot of weaponry. I mean,
Sure.
they do. It's a lot of guerrilla warfare on their part.
So that's
yeah.
With that said, it's also a lockdown, like pretty much all over the world. Everybody's kind of in a lockdown all over the seaboards, the Middle East, Asia, England, Britain. They're all under lockdown. So the odds of this happening, I think, are kind of questionable. Now, when ISIS does attack, their goal is for casualties, correct? So let's just pretend that and then let's also add to the fact that a month ago that the ISIS terrorist cells were told temporarily stop jihad. I know Fremo loves jihad, but stop jihad right now due to the coronavirus. That's what was. So now you're telling me that the groups that have barely any weapons at all.
They didn't call a stop to jihad. They called for a stop in areas where they're the coronavirus was the worst.
Yeah. So
To
so
prevent
again,
their people from getting sick.
so again, you have a group that barely can have any weapons. Somehow, I don't know, figured they'd shoot 5 rockets. Not only is it hard enough to get one, but they're going to shoot 5, and they're going to shoot 5 at a military base, and you had 0 casualties. This whole story smells odd, doesn't it?
It does. The only thing is apparently there was a claim by them saying that they did it. Now, where that claim came from is the question.
You know who else said it was not even our military. It was one of our military contractors that are over there for training.
Yeah.
So there is level upon level. The only good news I have this week in any way, shape, or form is the fact that unfortunately Bernie Sanders bowed out of the political campaign, and Joe Biden is pretty much the one that everybody's going to go with, or the one that the Democrats are going to do.
Why is it unfortunate? Just
No,
out of
I'm sorry.
curiosity.
I don't want to say unfortunate. It's not unfortunate, and it's not fortunate. We don't know yet how he's going to pan out, but I think it's pretty funny or pretty cool.
Oh, I just needed to know if I need to send you a Bernie Bro T-shirt.
No, you don't need to send me a Bernie Bro T-shirt. But I do think it's pretty cool, and it definitely helps his campaign a lot. Talk about locking it in. Is he came out and said that he's going to forgive student loans.
Biden, yeah.
Which I thought was brilliant. I'm like, that's going to get you right in there, right there. If you're going to guarantee that as the number one thing that you're going to do for the nation is forgive student loans, yeah, you're pretty much going to have a good vote right there.
Well, the only thing I would say,
Yeah,
is if that's your linchpin for deciding to vote for him, you need to look into the possibility of that and can he do it?
I think it's a great idea, though. I mean, I'd love to have that happen. That'd be great.
I mean, hell,
Are you
we
still
just
paying
took
on
on.
yours?
I never had any.
Oh, yeah. Well, not all of us can get a grant for basket weaving like you can.
Hey, all I gotta say is there's plenty of money out there if you know how to go get it.
Yes, there is. There's money for left-handed. There's money for all sorts of things.
Oh, the first thing I did when I started as a freshman was got a clerical position with the School of Business at the university I went to.
Yeah.
Basically, I took in all the applications for all the different scholarships and this, that, and the other, and had access to the full database of all the money that was out there. And there's so much stuff that nobody knows about, never gets applied for. I mean, some of it's like $250 one-time grant, but nobody applied for it. But you do $250 enough times, you pay for a semester of school.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's how I paid for my school.
And it works, people.
So
it's not unattainable. All right, so let's flip it over a little bit. We're going to get into this week's music, which again I'm pretty sure is a group that we've never heard of. It's essentially
it's not. But did you get that text I sent you earlier?
Yes, and I did watch.
Did you listen to any of them?
I did.
Is that not the funniest, most awesome thing ever?
Is,
we're gonna have to do a song of theirs.
Exactly. I'm debating whether I'm going to do that as a song next week or if I'm just going to tack on one of their songs at the end of this week's show, because it's pretty funny to hear that sort of stuff. So this week's, and I know it's weird. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan. Say what you will. The wife and I are definitely wrestling fans. But every once in a while,
they're on with a little entertainment.
Yep. Every once in a while, they come out with a theme song that's actually really good. Alter Bridge did one for Edge, Adam Copeland, who you've seen on Vikings. They did his theme song, and it's friggin' awesome. So this one's from a newer wrestler called Aleister Black, but I just thought it was heavy. It was Root of All Evil, which unfortunately is apropos for now. And then on the other side, we're going to get into a lot of stuff. One of the big situations or big things we're going to talk about in Stick Style is how you can communicate with other people while you're at home.
Yes, and we're not talking about just using smoke signals either, folks.
Or pigeons. But
yeah.
We'll see you on the other
Or the
side.
Pony Express.
It's a quick song, and we'll be right back. So welcome back. Another fine song. And Fremo's still in the bathroom, so I can talk shit about him constantly, which is great. All right, so I'll just kick it off. It's a great song. I don't care what anybody says. It's a good song. It's you can find it on most of the WWE soundtracks. You can find it on iTunes, which, as I sit here and say this now, you can also find us on iTunes and YouTube. Some of our videos are put back on YouTube, as well as extra stuff that we do during the course of the week. So, now that Fremo's back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. We're going to get into our next section.
The old bladder.
Gaming.
So this week we're going to talk about working from home. Now, first and foremost, I want to tell you that most of the stuff, and people don't realize this, but most of the stuff that you're going to buy to work from home for the next month or two, and believe me, folks, it's not going to end in May. Okay, you're going to be working from home for a little bit longer, some more than others. But all the stuff that you buy, work at home, is going to be tax deductible because you needed it to work at home. So whatever we're about to tell you, whatever the range you decide that you want to go with, that's entirely up to you. And again, I do believe, check with your tax accountant, but it should be all tax deductible. So the first thing we're going to get into, for you got this shitting grin on you, and people that are hearing on their cars right now are not seeing this. There is something he's got devised, people. I'm telling you right now.
No, I'm trying not to start a rant.
So first thing we're going to talk about is the conference
Stupid
software.
work from home people.
You're going to deal with all of that. That's awful. I do get phone calls.
Yeah,
and,
my position my position wasn't approved for work from home.
which doesn't make any sense.
No,
at
it
all.
doesn't. It doesn't. Not that I listen, because I've been working from home for a while now. They just,
Right.
I go in when I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have to go in, you have to go in. But
My boss knows what I do. He knows I don't make it out of the house a lot of days.
now, you guys using conference software?
Yes.
Which one?
Microsoft Teams,
Oh, that's a rough one.
Skype for
Yep.
business,
Yep.
WebEx.
WebEx, how's that working for you?
We don't have a standard, so different groups of people are using different things.
Wait,
so I have to support all
Free.
of it.
I actually have a sound effect for when you launch WebEx.
That pretty much covers it.
Yeah, that is an awful piece of software. So right now, a lot of people are using different pieces of software to get their conferencing done. So one of the first ones and the most famous ones and the most popular ones right now that came out of nowhere is Zoom. Zoom. Zoom
And
is
just like a lot of good products that our little techie groups like to have and keep away from everybody else so they don't get ruined.
and what Freemo's talking about is that a lot of times I agree with him. A lot of times us smaller tech people create these programs. Handbrake was originally a little quiet program. There's for the Apple people, there's All Remove, or there's just programs that are quiet and only geeks kind of auto runs. I don't even know if I should mention that one. That one could get everybody in a lot of trouble. Like there's, oh, look at all the red. Let me just delete all the red off this thing right now and click. Next thing you know, we're getting phone. Anyway, so there's all these programs that are like kind of geek tools that somehow end up getting out. And once they get out into the general public, they become problematic. Zoom is one of them. Zoom was a quick way that if you know what you're doing, you just hit a couple of clicks and you're talking and you can get your conversation done real quick. It worked great for those of us in the podcasting because it creates a great. The only one I can Gondok on Twitch, who's a popular Twitch streamer, uses it a lot. Very nice. Easy interface, but the poor company got too big too quick. I mean, I saw a screenshot of a video from when it first started getting big, and people were talking about it, and the CEO there, it just looked like a deer in the headlights. The poor bastard.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. They didn't have the infrastructure they needed to be scalable.
No, they weren't even thinking about that at the time. I mean, who'd have thunk that, a pandemic would kick in and your service, out of all the services, Google Meetup, Skype, all of those, that's the one that they choose to use. But they did. It's very easy. And one of the things that I thought was funny is, and people are trying to sue them because they said they were encrypted, and they said they weren't encrypted.
Dare I say they went viral?
I see what they were supposed to be encrypted, non-encrypted. My personal favorite problem that has to be fixed is the bombing. Zoom bombing is called, which is absolutely hilarious. Zoom bombing is when a lot of classes, it became a problem in Singapore, but a lot of classes will start on Zoom, and you could have anybody randomly kind of come into the class. So random people would just come into other people's classrooms or business office things. It got bad in Singapore where you had a few people doing lewd and posting videos, and that's where it gets wrong. But you got to feel for Zoom a little bit. I mean, as a company, you're like, yeah, we're going to grow. Oh, shit. And then you're still looking at the numbers. Oh, can our server handle this? You're calling up add more servers, add more decks. I
will guarantee you that their infrastructure team worked probably 2 to 3 straight weeks of never leaving the building, showering in the bathroom sink, sleeping on their floor with their chair laid down, using the backrest of their chair as a pillow.
Oh yes. Yep.
Things that we've done back in the day.
Yes.
I guarantee you they went nowhere.
You will never get a better sleep, honestly, than in a server room, honestly.
Oh, yeah, that nice little hum, the warm glow.
Yep, the air conditioning just right. Anyway.
Especially if it's a raised floor room, you sleep right over one of the vents. Oh,
it's delightful. So you also have Skype, which just came up with Meet Now, which is supposed to be like a Zoom equivalent. I haven't even tried that. If you're more of a geek, you can go with something like Discord, which is harder to use.
Shh.
But if you're, oh, that's true. Sorry, didn't.
Fucking idiot.
Said that. I'm part of the. You're a part of the problem,
Great.
Phoenix.
Great. We'll have to start finding something else to use because this is going to blow up. All the people are going to hear our recommendation.
If you're on Apple platforms, FaceTime works extremely well. It is very, very simple to use. So use that on an Apple platform. So now let's get into the bread and butter of it.
Well, hold on. You missed one of the big ones.
What did I miss?
Microsoft Teams.
I said that earlier.
Yeah, I just want to caution people not to use it.
Oh, why?
Are you kidding me?
Garbage.
Okay, take a video chat service. Let's mash up Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and slap it all into one package, and just kind of put it out there. And what? How do you use this? Have you looked at Microsoft Teams?
No.
Like they're trying to get us to move into it, right?
Yeah.
And I had someone call me and they go, "Hey man, are you going to get on this call?" I'm like, "What call?" And they're like, "We put it out on Teams." I'm like, "Where?" I was like, "I got Teams up and running."
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking. I'm on 3 different teams. I've got checked all 3 team tabs. I don't see nothing. Oh no, it's over under general something. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
it makes no sense.
What? What? They're like, "Oh, well, we included you in the hashtag." I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It is the most. It is seriously. It's so clunky.
Yes.
Like I don't even know what the actual definition of clunky is, but they should change it to MS Teams.
Broken.
I mean, it's clunky.
We don't have time
convoluted.
to do it. We don't have time to do it today. But I guarantee you, if Fremont and I did an hour's worth of work, we'll come up with the company that they purchased, the several companies they purchased to mold this into meetings, and how good all the other previous versions of those said products were before Microsoft got a handle on them. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of what you're going to set up.
The biggest one that they got was Skype.
Skype still works great though, or at least integrated enough to where it works. It's always on.
The commercial Skype package, great. The business Skype package, it's got its own issues, but yeah, it's pretty close to the regular Skype. Microsoft Teams is like they took Skype and decided to mutate it, see what gamma rays would do to it. I don't know, but it don't work.
See what gamma rays do.
Well, it worked for Bruce Banner. Let's see if we can beef this thing up.
Anyway.
I seriously, I don't know how they ended up with Microsoft Teams. Well, actually I do. Another one that they Yammer. You ever heard of Yammer?
No.
Okay. They got a hold of something called Yammer, which is kind of sort of a business Facebook type deal.
Okay. It already sounds
and
bad.
They mashed that into Microsoft. You can see elements of that in Microsoft Teams. It's just, it's like they want it to be, they got 50 people together and they said, how do you communicate with your peers? Okay, I use Facebook. I use Twitter. I use this. I use that. Da, 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 da. Okay, great. We're going to make something that does all these things.
Nothing good's going to come from that. It'll just...
Okay. Sorry, I told you I was trying not to rant, but I did it anyway. Go ahead.
Good for you. You deserve a rant every once in a while.
I got
You've been holding that
out.
shit in for weeks.
I feel better. All I need to do now is flush.
I could make that happen. We have that. So, first and foremost, all the stuff that we're about to mention, stuff that you need to kind of get your conferencing going at home. All the prices, shop around. Number one, shop around because everybody is price gouging, like a lot. It's getting bad. Number two, that all of these nowadays are good for everything. whether it's conferencing, gaming, streaming, podcasting, they're just going to work for everything, and it's going to be a personal preference. So first thing we're going to get into is the best mics. So you most likely have a built-in mic at your house on your laptop. It's built in.
Right.
It's there. Use that if you want to.
Did you notice what just happened?
Yeah.
I changed over to camera 2 so I can show you camera 1.
That's awesome. So a lot of these, most likely you're gonna have a mic built into your laptop. That'll get you by in a pinch. Don't even worry about it. All right. There's several brands.
I actually did quite a few of our recordings that way.
Yeah, absolutely. For a while, when stuff would break, that's the way it would happen. Look at you switching from camera 1 to camera 2. It's awesome. For those that are listening,
which one do I look at now?
Oh, our stupidity just continues on and on. What I'll speak about, again, all of these links are in the show notes. Look at them, check the prices, see what you think. I can only speak about the stuff that I've used, tried, or tested. And yes, we do have a lot of reviews in the can that I have to post. So the first one is the Blue Yeti, or Blue, or Yeti, whichever one you want. Fremo's using one. Mara Jade uses one. I know a lot of people that use them. They're pretty much the go-to one, in my opinion. It's a good price.
It is a fantastic product. I'm loving it.
The only downfall I feel on those mics is that the mute button is very hard to get to. Well, Fremo has...
it's right there. You Phoenix a dumb. So...
Oh, I hate you so much. You can pick up one of those anywhere between $69 and up to about $169. And you're gonna be able to plug and play. These are USB plug and play. You're good.
Yeah, and seriously, for the, I mean, obviously you can go spend a whole lot more money on anything, but to get any kind of quality product tech wise, if you're not spending at least $50, it's probably crap.
Yeah, it's not even, and again, will it get me by? I'm broke. I haven't got, it will get you by. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that you need high quality. There's mics out there that'll be $2,000, you know, and you might not know how to set the EQ, you know, it's just, it's rough. I still fool around with stuff and break stuff all the time.
For a plug and play, you know, you don't have a lot of technical knowledge or know-how, whatever you want to say. But yeah, the $50 to $150 range is pretty much, you're going to get something that's going to serve you well. Yeah. Without having to do a lot of, you know, anything out of the box as far as setup, other than plug it in. That's why it's pretty much plug and play.
Correct. You're looking at two different versions. You're looking at the mics that you might have seen up on stage, which are XLR mics. The one that you most likely saw was the Shure 58. Those will work fine too, but you'll have to get some sort of mixer in order to bring it into your computer, or you go with the USB type, which works great as well. Those are the two. The HyperX Quadcast is another one I have sitting over there that we reviewed. It's got a red light in it. That one's easy to get the mute button, so if you have kids and stuff and you're constantly around them, that might be a good choice for you. That way you can turn it on and off real quick. That one's about $139. Rode, RODE, makes probably some of the best podcasting stuff if that's the route you want to go. They make a very popular NT mic that's $180, and then you have the Razer one. So there's stuff out there, and the Razer one is more or less, a lot of these will sit on your desk, so they're not that, and the Razer one's like $100. So you have a good amount of options there for your microphone. Or you can use the microphone that's built into your computer. There's nothing wrong with that. This is if you want to go that extra mile. Next, we have webcams. Webcams is pretty much...
I was just going to say the only thing you might notice with the laptop, integrated laptop speaker or microphone arrays, is if you're not close enough to your laptop, then you're going to get a very hollow, tinny sound. So... Right.
You're going to pick up everything else in the room. A lot of mics get better over time. Different brands have different mics, and they're somewhat set up differently. but they're all in all the same. It's the same thing that goes with your webcam. A lot of laptops have a webcam. That is sufficient. You can do this. This is not that hard. Even if you want to keep a personal journal, this is easily something you can do.
Yeah.
Any single web
For
camera that
anybody watching right now,
Yeah.
I'm going to swap back over to camera number 1. And that is my integrated laptop camera.
just fine. Nothing wrong with
Not
it at all.
bad. Not bad. Doesn't quite give you the full effect of the glory, but
Now, mic 2 or camera 2 that Fremo has is the more popular Logitech C920. It's a great camera, but again, be careful not to get price gouged. Right now, you're seeing these online for $230. They are not $230 webcams at all. They're $130 is what they should be. It's the same thing with the Razer web camera, which actually has a ring around the outside of it for light, for more light. That one's around $150, I think. But anything that you find on eBay, a lot of web cameras are kind of at their peak, I would say, free, wouldn't you? They're like, I mean, every one you plug in is going to do pretty much the same thing.
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Now,
For the most part.
there's other podcasts out there. There's other YouTube channels out there that'll go into specifics as to why each camera is specifically different with this lens. No, I'm talking. We're BGFG. It's basics. You want to go into detail? We'll do that. But right now, it's just basics, and those are basic options for you. You know, the third-party ones will work just fine and not give you any sort of. Well, they might give you some problems, but not enough to really be upset about them. You know what I mean?
I mean, the only reason I can think of to spend more than, let's say, $100 to $150 on a webcam, and it wouldn't even be a webcam at that point. It would be an actual digital camera that you can use as your webcam.
DSLR going
Because
over there.
because you are recording. You know, you're out and about recording stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point in having, say, 2 cameras at that point. You just use your digital camera, camcorder, whatever you want to call it, as your webcam.
And if you're
And
doing
then,
something,
then you're going to be spending a little bit more money. But again, that's for someone who's doing, releasing videos on YouTube or Funny or Die,
just doing a lot
wherever you
more.
happen to lose it.
I mean, you can even get, if you want to go really low key, download the Anchor app onto your phone and just use your phone as your podcasting rig. And that will work fine. And that will broadcast right there for you. Third-party ones can be, like Fremo said, third-party ones can be under $100. And they're going to work just fine. You know, there might be some glitches here and there, but for the most part, you're going to plug it in, you're going to see an image of yourself, and you're done. There's not a lot going on with these cameras anymore outside of sharpness. And frankly, if you're on quarantine and you just want to see your loved ones, that's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. And now we get into my favorite section, because I know Fremo's been waiting for this too, is the headphone section. I have a sick obsession with headphones. Do you remember? And here, wait. Let me explain it. Remember last week when we talked about the Bluetooth headphones? We reviewed them. Well, not reviewed them, but we talked about them as being $80, $60, $80. We get off the air, and I was again talking about it with Mara Jade, and she turned around and went, "Why don't you just get them?" I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, you gotta love that woman.
Yeah, I do. So I got them, and I can tell you that they're not half bad. So when it comes to headphones, I've been using the same type of thing because I worked in radio previously, where I'm used to just a standard headphone. These headphones I have on are Sony's. They're very old. They're really expensive. But from your perspective, Free, what would be the best course of action? Like a lot of times nowadays, the headsets, I mean, I don't think I'm wrong. A lot of the headsets are multifunctional at this point. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Most definitely. I mean, the ones I'm wearing, I can use for, hell, I could Bluetooth them to my phone and wear them while I'm cutting grass if I wanted to,
Yes, I've done stuff like that. Yeah.
I can use it, obviously, hooked up with the computer, or in this case, I have it running through the mic. I can also plug it into my Xbox controller.
Yeah, multifunctional.
So, yeah. with presets and all kinds of different things depending on what you're doing. But so yeah, I mean headsets. And do we want to make a distinction here?
Between what? There's 4 different types.
Well, I mean, like I want to not include earbuds.
I would agree.
To me, those are not headsets.
No, they're earbuds. Totally different category.
All right, so we're talking at least half can headsets.
Yeah. Headsets, over the ear headphones.
All right, good. I just wanted to make sure.
So I mean, I've experienced so many of them, and one thing I will tell you is that unless you have perfect hearing and you do this for a living, number 1. Number 2, you have a preamp that you put all your headphones through. Or number 3, you just listen to the highest quality music ever, like Tidal or what's another uncompressed format free? I can't remember. FLAC. If you're listening to something like that, then a $400 headset is going to sound unbelievably better. If you do not follow any of those categories, it doesn't fucking matter, because 9 times out of 10 you listen to somebody's voice, whether it's in a YouTube video or a TV show or a conference call or a podcast, you listen to somebody's voice. It doesn't take a lot to reproduce that. Number 2, if you're using it for gaming or on your laptop or anything else like that, you are so consumed with it, I don't really think you're listening. Every single headphone is pretty much doing surround sound at this point built in. Every game. I shouldn't even say head. You know what? I'm wrong. It's not headphones. It's they'll accept the sound cards. Let's just say the sound cards or the source material is coming out in surround sound, and your headphones are taking it and they're processing it and they're doing a wonderful job on it. Yeah. Can you hear every footstep compared to a $150 headphone compared to a $40 headphone? I don't know. Maybe you'll hear a footstep that somebody else didn't hear. But again, that goes back to your hearing. How good is your damn hearing? Right. So keep the price cheap. For instance, I have a list. Well, we put a link in the show notes for a list. And a lot of these Fremo can speak right upon the Logitechs right now because he's got them on his head. And you can get those, like just for a conference call, you can get ones for $20 all the way up to their, Premier $200.
Yeah, we use I call it a baseline Logitech for all of the computers that people do training and stuff on. Mm-hmm. And some of the computers are in rooms where don't have to worry about a lot of ambient noise. Others are out there in the middle of everything going on, and we've never had any issues or complaints with people saying they can't hear the material. So yeah, I mean, it just, back to the point that you were saying, it really depends on what you're using them for. If you're just using them because you need to hear something, then yeah, there's no point in spending $200-$400 on them. If you're using them because you want to hear every single variance in the Philharmonic Orchestra's performance of, whatever, you want to be able to hear that guy when he inhales sharply right before he goes, ding.
Hit us up at BGFGshow@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to go through. I'll send you a nice little email going through what headphones are good for that reason to get that type of sharpness. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. There's
any tech questions you have, send it to us. If we don't already have some knowledge of it, we'll go figure it out. Get back with you.
It would take me hours to explain, all of the stuff about headphones. And so
I know.
The list
I'm trying real hard not to get us off on why you should use this for that and
Between what is USB and auxiliary and I just recently, speaking about sound and stuff, I want to share this. I bought,
now you have 7.1 Dolby and you have noise canceling headphones. So that any background or active noise canceling, it's crazy.
So many bells and whistles.
Wonderful stuff out there.
So I bought Mara Jade a speaker for her computer. She didn't want to wear headphones all the time, so she wanted a speaker. So I picked up a speaker, and it was a USB and it had the 2 auxiliary cables. Now I don't need those. Who uses the inputs and outputs on the front of any speaker? I mean, I put them on these Logitechs over here, and I don't ever use them. Right. So I plug it into USB and I didn't hear anything on the computer fire up. I'm like, what the hell? I look under the audio inputs. It's not there. I'm like, what the grab the instruction manual real quick. The USB only powers the light for the volume knob and the speaker itself. You actually have to use the auxiliary jacks, the 1/8, to plug it into the computer to get the sound to work. I just thought that was so comical.
That's awesome.
But again, they were $20, so I was like, I'll buy them for the whole studio.
It literally powers the light and the volume of the speaker. Nice. I love it.
Yeah. So they're $20. So even that, which I chuckled about, it's still $20 cost me for the whole studio as much as it would cost me to buy a decent, desktop speakers for somebody.
Yeah.
Especially when you have headphones on. But back to what I was saying with headphones, I have literally had a pair in this house right now, every one of these. One brand, or one of each one of these brands, minimum of one, some more.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, we're going to start off with the HyperX. HyperX is a brand. We're going to go with brands. They have from $50 to $300. Again, people, it's a personal preference. You're not going to reinvent the wheel with headphones. Not yet. You're not ready for that yet. Yeah, really, because you can get into it. I mean, these headphones right here are $400.
Right.
I got them for $60 because somebody mislabeled something. But they're worth that, and they feel like that. Steel Series is another brand. You can get anything from the most common over the ear right down there with the microphone attached, and you'll have your option to get any one of the four: Bluetooth, USB wireless, wired, or USB. Those are the four connections you're going to have on headphones. And his personal preference, like Fremo said, he can connect his to his phone, disconnect it from his phone, plug it into his Xbox. I give him a call, tell him I did something stupid. He unplugs it from the Xbox, comes over to the computer, plugs it into the computer. They're working for him all day long.
Yeah.
Astros are another one. Those are popular with the gamers. The Astro 10s I have here in the house, and they're cheap. They're like $70, which isn't cheap, but they are. Sometimes I feel that these $60, $70 headphones could be $40 without a heartbeat. Again, you're not reinventing anything here. And people can get into debates. I'm sure I'll get email conversations will happen about it. Like, I know what I'm talking about. It's, which one do you, each brand has 15 different headphones ranging from those prices from low to high. So, the lower bottom one probably has a 40 millimeter driver and the upper one has a 50 millimeter driver, or this one's got a 20. Look, you're playing a video game, okay? Or you're talking to your loved ones, or you're just listening to music. It depends on what your source material is going to be anyway. Guess what? Your YouTube video is not exactly breaking the audio limitations, okay? There's nothing lawless, especially if you're watching something on YouTube. YouTube is so compressed. Even now with everybody being on quarantine, it's even more compressed. So you're not going to get that true audio that you think you're going to get. Corsair, my God, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Corsair headsets, all different models that Corsair has. And they do sound better. Their $200 one does sound slightly warmer and more bassy than the lower end one. But it depends on what you want to do. You're still going to be able to hear low end noises, just how deep do you want them? Razer Kraken I have over here, that's another one. Very comfortable, very big. The problem is you're not going to be able to go into a store right now. So you can't try any on.
Yeah.
Which is going to be tough. What would you feel, Free, would be the biggest, the most important feature if we take away the sound quality?
For the most important feature for people that have not been using headphones on a regular basis and will now be wearing them for potentially 3-4 hours at a time during the day while they're working, whatever, or even more than that, up to 8 hours, depending on what your job is that you're not doing from home. You want to get something that's comfortable on you.
Right.
And that's hard to do if you can't try them on, but we can give some recommendations. I would definitely go with something I would go with something that like full cans that completely go around the ear and don't sit on the ear. You'll see some of the lower end headsets, they're smaller round pads and they actually sit against the ears. And they may feel okay when you first put them on, but I'll tell you right now, after 2 hours of those pinching on your head, you're going to feel the difference, as opposed to something that completely goes over the ear.
Now, when you get over the ear, you have the problem of ear sweat. It just gets hot, especially the bigger cups you have on.
It can.
The Sony ones that I use have an extremely big, soft ear cup. They're extremely comfortable to wear, but it gets hot. Every once in a while, I got to take them off and let my ears breathe a bit. The razors are also big. Corsair makes a bigger set now, where their middle of the road set has a good. It's got a. I think yours has it too. It's like a weird shaped cup. It's not like a completely circle.
It's almost like a trapezoid.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there you go. Yeah, trapezoidal.
I don't know if you can see
I can see the little bottom piece.
I don't know if you can see the actual. I mean, you can kind of get the overall shape by the outline of it.
Yeah.
But the cutout's basically the same shape as the pad there. You got about, I don't know, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I think headphones are the
way
most
more comfortable.
outside of the web camera. Headphones would be the most important purchase, in my opinion. A mic can come later, but a headphone with a good mic, and most of them have a pretty decent mic. I mean, it's going to be adjustments near your face that you have to do, not necessarily.
Yeah, actually, this one does have. I don't ever use it, but it's in here somewhere.
We're going to lose his audio.
There it is. It's got a.
Yeah, it comes down.
You gotta turn this way. It's got. I actually have 4 mics I can use in the event of. I've got the integrated. I've got the mic on my headset. I got the mic built into the webcam. I got the Yeti.
So there's a lot going on there, and a lot of these headsets will have.
If you can't hear me talk, it's because he turned off my channel.
That's not true. I don't know what you speak of. Somebody said nothing. But you're going to have either the permanent headphone on the headset, which will work just fine, or you're going to have a drop-down headset. When you lift it up, it mutes it, which is nice. The Turtle Beach is still out there. Again, same thing. They're actually more of a esports type pusher these days. You're going to find a lot of these, but don't get me wrong. These are the main name brands. You can get an off-brand one. I bet you guys have never heard of a Neurophone. I have a Neurophone right over there that I'll be dropping a review eventually. Neurophones combine earbuds in your ear and then a cup on the outside for bass. They're wireless or wired. They're awesome. They sound unbelievably awesome. They have active noise canceling, so when you turn it off, you can hear everything around you. When you turn it on with a tap, you can't hear anything but your music. They're phenomenal headphones. They're $15 a month. With that $15 a month, you're kind of renting them, but they'll replace them at any time. The warranty's unlimited and forever, as long as you're paying for them. Or you can buy them outright for $400. And as you'll see in the review, I'll point out why I don't think that they're quite $400 headphones. Yet, like we were talking about last week, look at last week's show in the links. The Boltunes that I still don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Boltune. The Boltunes that I mentioned last week, I ended up buying, got them in, and they are just as good. They're not quite as soft and comfortable, but I tested them the other day, and I actually gamed for 4 or 5 hours straight with those headphones on, and they worked perfect. They were comfortable, they sounded great, and they were $60. And they can go Bluetooth or they can go wired. I mean, that's a great deal, and they sounded phenomenal. You know, if you could pick something else, a feature that you wanted on a headphone, you were going to design a Fremo Z headphone, which let's hope, Lord, let's pray right now as a group in BGFG that Fremo never gets branded. Because we'll start seeing the dumbest shit ever. You'll be having a mouse pad with his big fat face on it.
Oh, no, I got way better stuff than that in mind.
I'm sure you do.
Way better stuff.
So what feature, like
ammunition with my face on it? So the last thing you'll see will be my face. Dude, what's that coming out of? Is that, oh my God, boom.
Done. All right, let's wrap this up with our last segment. So let's just take this last segment and just try to laugh and make ourselves laugh. First thing I want to do, which is not in the show notes that I want to say to you during this segment, was there is so much gaming going on free. I sometimes sit here free, and I miss you, brother, because I sometimes sit here and I'm just like, oh, I could do this, I could do Halo, I could do Gears, I could do Forza, I could do, oh,
yeah.
and I'll be playing. I'll run into somebody and go, somebody's got a blue Pagani or a blue car. I automatically rear end them.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better. Makes me miss you.
Well,
I'll
get back into it. I'll get some more free time here, man.
I hope so. So the first story, which again, we're trying to brighten things up. I implore you, if you're listening in the car or listening on a walk or a jog, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to remember to when you get home to pull up this link, because what you want to do is look at the picture. The picture of this. So what if you read the headline, because I can't.
Students develop a smart bra for early breast cancer detection.
Uh-huh. So, as we've learned in school, there's very simple and good ways to do breast exams. Many of young lad have tried to use that on on a loved one by saying, "Hey, let me give you a breast exam right quick. Just feel like a lump. Let me check and see."
Yeah, I'm thinking there's an internal integrated camera that people don't know about, because that dude in the back's a creeper.
He might be a creeper, but the way I'm looking at it is that the two dudes knew exactly what they were getting into.
Yeah,
they're just
like,
sitting
what?
there grinning like,
we get to get involved in what? Yes, I'm in.
They know that picture is being seen by every guy, and every guy's asking that same question. Did you check? And they're sitting there with that grin going, "Yes, we did." And that one girl in the back is going, "Yes, they did."
Right.
Several times.
Yeah, she's happy.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I don't want
I'm
to be
cancer free.
We're just poking fun. We don't want to be sued. And one of the
Go ahead. Sue me.
Can't take nothing from nothing.
I need my name out there.
Oh, bad press is still good press.
Exactly. And if you can get blood from this turnip, you're welcome to it.
One of the last things I wanted to cover today, which I thought was quite amusing, and I was going to pull them all up, but I don't know if you've seen lately some of the backgrounds that have shown up.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the features of Zoom is that you can quickly change your background. So a lot of people go with the generic backgrounds, but you have to be a little bit more creative in that. For instance, I was able to pick up, oh my God, I found I wish I was able to get this done beforehand, because I didn't want to load them all into the broadcast itself. But there's some pictures that I got. For instance, I got the picture from The Office. When they're sitting there and they're doing their little one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
I have that background from The Office.
Nice.
If you look over at the camera, and if you're watching the video stream, you'll see that the Office picture is right there. So again, it's definitely one of those things that was fun to do. But if you add a background, you're gonna enjoy yourself, because it's going to make things a little bit more lively when you're doing your remote calls or anything else. Try not to get too perverted, but I've got things from like Star Trek. I've got things from The Office. I've got things from Jurassic Park. I've got random backgrounds of just like museums and stuff, and making my room look like it's a beautiful, expensive room. It's pretty cool. But just have some fun with it. And before we leave, let me say one last thing I want to leave.
Are these parting words of wisdom?
Yes, these are. Remember that in 20 years, 20 years from this day, so don't get yourself down with being...
I'll be retired.
I will not be. I'll probably still be working. In 20 years from now, when this is all gone and blown over, I just want you to remember that the country's then going to be run by people that were homeschooled by day drinkers for several months.
Nice.
Yeah, I keep
I
it
like it.
classy.
I like it.
All right. Anything else this week?
Trying to think offhand. There's just anything just crazy amusing that happened. I mean, other than the Cleverleys, if you want to cue one up to take us out. I know what my personal favorite pick would be, but I haven't gotten through all their stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go see those guys if they come anywhere close. I think
Why don't you
it's
tell everybody
genius.
what they actually do?
It is. It is absolute 100% bluegrass music cover songs of people like Beyonce, Missy Elliott, my personal favorite by Blackstreet, No Diggity.
No Diggity was great.
I mean,
So
I don't basically imagine any kind of like serious hip hop, rap, dance like song artist with my accent. Because these boys manage to keep their accent while they're singing.
That's awesome. So, yeah. You have anything else for this
But I'm
week?
talking full stand up bass. You can hear it.
Fiddle. They got a fiddle, a
You know,
banjo,
the fiddle, the
upright bass.
banjo, the all of it.
But
So
No
it's
Diggity is
100%. It's
worthwhile.
100% bluegrass sound, but you will completely. I guarantee you, not only will you recognize the song, but you'll be singing along with it before it's over with.
Yeah, next week we might do that for a song. That'll probably be a good idea.
Okay.
That's it for this week. 10's down, show's over.
All right. Whoop, whoop.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.